Okay, we're live. Let me adjust this. It's like too high. There. Hello, we're live, and I have my Scream Queen sash that I got from the pre-order campaign for The Weight of Blood, and I was like, well, I have to have that so I can wear it for the live show. Like, that is its only purpose. I don't know what I'm going to do with it after this, but today we're going to be discussing The Weight of Blood, and Sarah is joining me tonight because she actually read a book.
I mean, it helps that it was nominated for Civils.
This was nominated for Civils. I don't know if one of you guys nominated it or not, but thanks if you did, because it forced Sarah to read a book club selection. I haven't been able to get her to pick up a book club book more than like twice this year, I think. So that was lucky. So hello, everybody who's here, and I hope you all enjoyed the book this month. It was such a much better selection than last month. I have redeemed myself. I felt really bad last month about how awful the live show went because I just felt like I was full of negativity. I'm so glad that will not happen tonight because I think both of us gave it 5 stars.
I really
we both loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put this back up here now so I don't have to hold it the whole time. So, Sarah, do you want to go ahead and start and share your thoughts?
Let's see. So, yeah, I read it, like, towards the beginning of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I said, I read it because it was nominated for Civils. And, honestly, I'm really glad it was nominated because it gave me the opportunity to actually read it because I actually was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Like, going into it, I had a feeling I was going to like it. Because, I mean, I like horror and that kind of story. And, like, I do enjoy the original Carrie. Like, Carrie's not my favorite story of Stephen King. But
Carrie was my first Stephen King, I think.
It might have been my first, too. Actually, no.
No, it wasn't your first.
The Shining was your first. Never mind. But it was one of my first. And, yeah. I was really surprised by this book and just how much it felt like Carrie. Like, it felt tonally the same.
Yeah,
like it almost
I agree.
Like
it hit all the right beats
like
to be Carrie.
Yeah,
without being Carrie.
But makes sense. Like it was. I'm trying to figure out how to word this because, like I said, it felt so much like Carrie. Yeah, at the same time, like it felt so much standalone at the same time. Like
it felt like its own book.
Yeah. Like. It almost feels. I almost like it better than the original Carrie. Like it almost feels like
what?
I don't know. This is the way it took of like the plot beats of Carrie, but made it its own thing. Like it tells the story better to me. I don't know. It worked really well.
What I liked that it told the story in a really unique way, so that it was Carrie, but it was its own thing, and I liked. That I love Tiffany D. Jackson's writing. Like I knew going in that I was going to love this, and I was so excited to finally pick it up. But I think what it does that I really liked, I wouldn't say I like it better than Carrie. I think I like them both equally. But I think what she did better is bring in the social commentary that I feel was maybe lacking in the original Carrie, or maybe it was there and it just was such a different time that I just didn't understand the social commentary in the original Carrie. But I felt like she did such a good job modernizing the story and making it relevant for today's teen audience, which is who's really going to be reading this book for the most part. And oh my gosh, Spencer, did you really just say you've never read Carrie? What? How? Well, I assign it to you. I mean, and that's the thing too. You don't have to have read Carrie to appreciate this book. Like they're their own separate entities. Although I did see, and I totally missed it when I read the book, but I did see Kayla at Books and Lala talk about it. And she said they referenced Stephen King in the book, and I was like, hold on, did they?
They did.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
It slipped right by me, so I missed that reference.
Like
entirely.
It's a really casually slipped in reference, but it must have been in the podcast.
Strange.
Yeah, it was in the podcast.
But I totally missed that, and I just think that's kind of hilarious because, like, if Carrie exists in this world. How is this happening? But I found that really funny, but I totally missed it when I was reading the book on my, I listened to it. I listened to the audiobook because I don't know if anyone else did, but the audiobook for this was amazing. It's up there for me with Project Hail Mary as like best audiobook experiences I've ever had. It was so much fun as an audio because it was like a full cast and music and so fun. So I really enjoyed that.
I'm pretty disappointed that I didn't know the audiobook existed. I read the whole
on
thing.
Scribd,
Yeah.
So you should just listen to it sometime, like when you want to do a reread. It's really fun. So I tried to see if I could find discussion questions online, and there are none. So I mean, which makes sense. I think this came out in September.
Yeah.
So
we
can it is early for discussion guides and such. So we're just gonna have to like chat about the book. So Sarah, who is your favorite character? Or did you have one?
I mean, I think with a book like this, like so many of the characters are pretty unlikable people.
Can I just say I absolutely hated Wendy? Like, hate her.
Yeah.
Like, all of her motivations were so wrong. And even when she was trying to be like, see, I'm the good one, but she was so much worse than Jules almost, because Jules was like in your face with it. Like, she was letting you know how awful she was, where Wendy was like, I'm actually nice, but not really, because I'm a terrible person who's only looking out for myself. I don't know. I hated her so much more than I think in the original Carrie too. Like that character is meant to be more likable.
Yeah.
And that was not the case. But Kendrick was great.
Yeah.
I loved Kendrick. And I was so worried for him the whole book. Like, knowing what happens in Carrie, like, I was so concerned about what was going to happen to him. Because he was just a sweet little cinnamon roll. And I just wanted all the good things for him.
Yeah, I think Kendrick and then Maddie are like the only really likable characters in the whole book.
Yeah. And I like that they were likable. I like that she gave us characters to root for, because so often in a story like this, everyone's awful and you just kind of end up not caring what happens to anybody because they're all terrible. So I was pleasantly surprised that we got likable characters. I was also kind of disappointed that some of the unlikable characters did not die.
Yeah.
Like, why was Jules alive at the end? Excuse me? No. Like, I wanted her to have a really horrific death, and she didn't. I mean, she did lose an arm.
That scene was a little bit darkly
but
satisfying, but at the same time would have been more satisfying if she died.
But she learned absolutely nothing. Yeah. So, like, what was the point? Like, I wanted her to either die or to learn something from this experience. And I was just like, oh, why? It was not fair. But I don't know. I liked that the ending was a little bit different.
I like the ambiguousness of
the
it.
ambiguousness,
like,
yeah. Because, like, you don't really know what happens.
I like the potentials that, like, Maddie and Kendrick got a happy ending.
That's what I hope. I'm like, oh, please let him have found her, and they just lived happily ever after in their own little world away from all of that. So, yeah, I know, Spencer. It was very reflective of real life, sure, but also, like, it's a story. Let me have my revenge plot. Like, if anyone deserved to die, it was Jules. And maybe Wendy.
Yeah.
But yeah, neither of them died, so I don't know. But yeah. So what else can we discuss? What else do you want to talk about? What do you want to say about the social commentary on this? Because I felt it was very, very interesting, and it made me wonder, like, is this like, I know this stuff really happens, but, like, are there really still segregated proms? Like, is that still happening now? Like, was that still happening seriously in 2014? I don't know that was a thing on my radar ever.
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it were.
I know, but, like, it wouldn't surprise me. But I want to know, like, did she base this on, like, did she hear about a school that was actually doing this still? And, like, I'm very curious.
Yeah.
Because, like, how do you not or maybe you do realize and you do it on purpose. I don't know. I feel like these days there would be more of a stink about it, but maybe not. Maybe if it's like tradition.
Yeah. I feel
But
like now, like in 2022, something like that happened. I think that like
I think that would be all over
yeah.
social media if that was happening now. But
in
like
2014,
also, I was just sort of surprised and maybe taken aback that it was a thing that might really be happening.
Yeah.
Also, I think my only negative, and I really only had the one, my only thing I didn't love was the fact that the traumatic incident at the beginning of the story in the original Carrie, and I don't think this is a spoiler because I'm sure even if you didn't read the book, you've seen the movie perhaps. And, you know, the whole like traumatic, she's got her period but doesn't know what it is. And she's freaking out in the shower and all the girls are whipping tampons at her. And that is horrific, like genuinely traumatizing. And in this book, they're just throwing pencils in her hair and like, sure, I can see why that would be upsetting. Like, it is definitely an upsetting thing to happen. But is it traumatic? Because, I mean, I feel like if your powers are going to be unleashed by this traumatic experience, it needs to be legitimately traumatic. And I don't know if I felt that with that scene. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree?
I can see that. Like, I mean, I can also kind of see that that might have been kind of traumatic for her, seeing as like she's been hiding this for.
And I suppose I can see that too. I just feel like
I don't know.
From the reader's perspective, it doesn't hit the same way because I think in a story like this too, you need to feel it yourself for it to be enough of a moment. And I don't know that most readers would feel that for that scene. Like, sure, maybe Maddie was feeling it and I can see why she would be, but I don't know. Those are just like such different kinds of trauma. I don't know. I wish we'd gotten a little bit more about the birds because they mentioned it a few times as like, oh, this is a thing that happened. But like, I was like, well, that sounds like we need more story. As I don't know. It was just sort of referenced as this thing that happened once. And I want to know more about why or what happened with the bird incident. Because that felt like the traumatic moment that we needed to have.
Yeah, I almost forgot about the birds, actually.
Like, I don't know, they brought it up and they even referenced it to do with something about the police got called because she was freaking out about getting her period. And her house was like swarming with birds. And like, there's the trauma that we needed to see in that scene. Yeah, and Spencer says the traumatic thing should have been the water balloons, which I agree, yes. I just felt like that didn't work for what it was meant to be. But that's really my only quibble, I think, with the whole book is that one scene. So I didn't hold it against it. I still gave it 5 stars because it was still great overall. But yeah. And I really liked too the little twist we got at the end with her origin story, where they talked about the whole book. You think that she got her power from her mother, and then you find out it was actually the grandmother. And I thought that was so interesting because I didn't expect it. And I love how she throws in like these little twists. Like, it's not a huge reveal, but it worked so well, I think, because you assume that the father's trying to like beat the black out of her, kind of, and like, because he's mad at himself for having been with a black woman, but he's trying to beat his mother out of her the whole time. And I just thought that was so crazy. Like, I didn't expect it. And in a story where like I knew every beat that we were hitting, like I was ready for every like major moment in the book. That just was so well done and clever. And I just thought that was great. So I feel like I'm hogging it. Sarah, what about you? What is your favorite moment from the book?
thinking. I think honestly, my favorite part of the book, I don't know an individual scene, but I think just the progression of the relationship between Maddie and Kendrick, because I feel like that's something that I kind of wish we had gotten something more like that in the original Carrie, just giving Carrie the actual opportunity to find happiness. Because, like, in the original story,
the original
like,
story
you
is
know
so
that
sad.
he doesn't actually care about her. Like, he's being nice, but, like, it was just, like, a kind of gesture, not actually trying to really be her friend and actually treat her like a person. But, like, in this, like, Maddie actually had a person who genuinely cared about her. And I just thought that was really nice and, like, just
I was
made
glad
the
we
story
got
more
that.
compelling, I feel.
I agree, because the original Carrie is very kind of depressing because she has nothing going for her in her life. She has no friends. Nobody seems to care about her, and everyone's terrible to her, and it's just really depressing. And I was glad that that's not exactly the case for this book. I also really found it kind of weird that she was like trapped in this time warp where her father would not let her see or know about anything relevant now, like all of the movies, all of the TV. They even had like the old big wooden TV. Like everything was old, and she got made fun of at school because she dressed in old-fashioned clothing, and she was like being made into this like perfect housewife, which makes me wonder, like, where did her father see that going? Like, was he going to keep her at home forever? Was she just meant to be like his caretaker? Like, was he expecting her to be his little housewife? Like, I don't know. I found it weird and kind of interesting. Yeah, like she did seem to have some sort of like a mental thing going where she could like get into people's heads, but not her father's head. So I don't know. I wondered that too, if there was something that she was like maybe not purposefully doing, but like making him think about her. I don't know. Interesting to think about. There was a lot of stuff in this book, I feel like, that made you think about like where it was going and why it was happening. There was just a lot of like interesting bits and things going on in the story. Yeah, maybe Spencer says he banked on being able to kill her at some point and not really thinking beyond that. I don't know. Maybe I kept thinking that he was going to try to kill her, but I didn't see him doing it, like really doing it. I don't know. He felt oddly weak.
Yeah.
And like maybe he didn't really have as much power over her as he thought he did. But I don't know. I didn't feel as threatened by him as I did by the mother in the original Carrie, because she was just complete batshit. Like she was so scary.
Yeah, I feel like the mother in Carrie is more like a horror movie
something
villain.
About religious fanaticism
like,
is more scary than just racist white guy.
Like
so scary.
The mom in Carrie feels more like a horror movie villain, and then Maddie's dad is just some guy. At the end of the day, he's not that intimidating.
No, and like once she had her full power, like it wasn't a thought in my mind that like he could do anything to her at that point. Like she was overpowering him, and like even at Carrie's full power, like she was still like her mother had power over her still. So I don't know. I wished I'd had time to reread Carrie. Like I didn't have time for that this past month. So it didn't happen, but I did watch the movie. I watched the not the Sissy Spacek one. I watched the I don't know what year it was, 2000s, with Chloe Grace Moritz. I watched that one with Regina because she'd never seen Carrie, and she tried reading it but did not like the bullying, and so I thought, oh well, maybe she'll handle it better with the movie. No, she was like, I don't like this. They're so mean. Why are they so mean? So like, I don't know. homeschooled kid. She's not, has no concept of that. Like, she doesn't understand bullying or why people would do it. And like, why can't they just be nice? Why can't they just be nice to her? Why is her mom so mean? So like, yeah, it didn't really work for her. But like, I really liked that version of it. Like that movie is really good. What is the actress? Is it Julianne Moore that plays the mother in that one? Oh, she is so freaking scary. Like, she's really good at being terrifying.
It's been a little while since I've seen that movie. I don't remember as well.
No? Well, I don't know that I'm going to have time to watch it again.
I watched some of the original Carrie movie when I took that one Gothic Lit class.
We watched the Chloe Grace Moretz one at some point, didn't we?
No, I know I watched that.
Yeah.
I saw the full of that movie. It's been years. But I also saw like the beginning and the end of the original Carrie, since we didn't have enough time to watch the whole movie.
Yeah, the whole revenge plot thing didn't work for Regina. She was just like, this is terrible. Why are they so mean? Why is she being mean? Like, I was like, well, she's been tortured. So this is how she's exerting her power over them. Like, it's supposed to be satisfying, and she did not find it satisfying. It's just not for her, I guess. So I don't see her reading this either. I don't think she would like it.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe when she's older, but
perhaps. Right now,
not.
She's not in the right space for that. Like, oh well. But I really enjoyed the book, and I gave it 5 stars. I'll read literally anything that Tiffany D. Jackson writes. She's just like one of my favorite authors.
This is the first thing I've ever read by her.
What?
You knew this.
I know. And every time you say it, I'm like, what?
Like, mother, you know this.
What? I'm in denial because I was so sure you read White Smoke.
No, I meant to.
So, I think there's only 2 I haven't read. I didn't read Let Me Hear a Rhyme yet, and I haven't read Grown. But I really want to get to both of them. So, but yes, I was going to say Allegedly is my favorite, but also that was my introduction to her writing. So I think it's just like going to be up there because it blew my mind.
Probably the one I'm most likely, if I'm going to pick up another of her books, I'll probably pick up Allegedly next, but I don't know when that'll be. At some point.
Soon.
At some point.
Soon. I'm going to make you read that.
After Sybil's.
Yes. After Sybil's is over, you're reading. That's like your first book in January.
Is it now? We'll see.
Because it's so good. So, yeah, I just love her writing style. Like, I don't know. She has this way of setting up a story so you think this is happening, and then she'll just like flip it, or just sometimes a little twist that changes the whole thing. And I just really appreciate that. I like when a writer can surprise me, and I just think that's great. Yeah, the dogs are over here making so much noise. I was like, what are the odds that they're going to actually be quiet?
Not likely.
At least they're not super loud. Like, they were being all kinds of crazy earlier. This is usually their quietest time of day, and I've just jinxed it. I just know it. Drew's sleeping, so I at least have that going for me. So yeah, do we have any other thoughts that we want to share? Do you have anything else you want to say? Hey, you're okay. Leave Drew alone.
She just woke up.
I know she did because he whined at her. Hi. So do you have any other thoughts about the book that you want to share?
Geez, here we have like a list of questions.
I know. I wish I could have found one. Like, there are no questions
if
that
we
could
planned
find.
Ahead, we might have done make our own.
We could have done that. We were doing other things today. We should have done that. That should have been priority. It's fine. It's okay. Yeah. We can just talk about it. Yeah, I think the end of this book was really good. I really liked that we had the podcast element. I found that, especially with the audiobook, I just found that to be so much fun.
I'd like to think that
yes,
they found each other.
I think they are together. In my canon, in my head, they are together, and they lived happily ever after. She found her mother.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
And they all live together in this happy little island away from all the mean people. So that's what I want to believe. Yeah, the podcast, I cannot say it enough. Go listen to the audiobook. Even if you've already read it, I don't care. Go listen to the audiobook because it's like a whole different experience. Because I started the book and reading it with my eyeballs. And I was like, I wonder if this is on audio and I can just like listen and go back and forth between the book and the audiobook while I'm doing other things. And I ended up just like ditching the book and just listening to the audio because it was so good. It was one of my favorite audiobooks I think I've ever listened to. This is really annoying. I keep moving it around. I did the pre-order campaign specifically because I wanted this for the live show. But I wish I'd gotten the tiara. I'm sad that I didn't even think about it until sitting down and putting this on, and I was like,
something's missing.
I'm missing a tiara. It's fine.
No, I love the Sadie audiobook.
I've been
trying to get you to listen to it.
I read Sadie. I think it was an ebook when I read it. I had the ebook, and Sarah told me like, I don't know, a few months after I'd already read it that the audio was good. And I think that was like just before I started doing audiobooks. And I was like, I already read it. It's fine. I definitely want to go back and
the Sadie audiobook is amazing.
And listen to Sadie.
Because it's also a podcast. So like it feels like you're listening to a podcast and it's just like
it's really on my list. I'm definitely gonna listen to that because I don't even really remember the plot that well of Sadie. And I wanted to reread it before I read her new book, which I cannot remember the name of.
I'm the Girl.
I'm the Girl, thank you. Because I got that. And I've been wanting to pick that up at some point, but I wanted to reread Sadie. They don't go, it's not a sequel, but
they are connected.
They're connected and like, it's not, but they're standalones.
Yeah, they're standalones, but there's like a tiny connection.
So I wanted to reread Sadie before I read I'm the Girl, so I would get the connection, but I don't know when I'm going to have time for that. Definitely not until next year.
Yeah, same.
I'm all booked up. Like literally, I have no space right now to read anything extra, but that's definitely a thing I'm planning to do. And yeah, if there's any other audiobooks like that, I'm always looking for fun audiobooks because I really only just got into them this last year. And like, I wonder why I hadn't before. Like, I think I did try to listen to something a few years back, and I don't know. I think maybe also back then I didn't know you could speed them up. And it just made me so sleepy. And I gave up. Knowing I can speed it up, I think definitely helps me get through. Oh yeah, in the audio for The Weight of Blood, it is a full cast. So like every character has its own narrator, and then you have the podcast narrators. So it's excellent. It's so good. I don't know that I've listened to too many audiobooks that did that with a full cast. I've had like when there's dual POVs, I've had audiobooks that have like two different narrators for that. But this might be the first one I've listened to that was a full cast. Yeah, I agree, Spencer. Same thing. Like I don't know. For whatever reason, audiobooks did not work for me before this year. And I cannot for the life of me figure out what changed. Like I don't know why now suddenly they work where the few times I tried prior, they didn't. I don't know. It's weird.
I'm still like on the fence. Like sometimes I can listen to an audiobook and then I go through a phase where I don't listen to any again. But like I used to like back when I was in college, like I would like listen to them like before I would go to bed at night. So like they would lull me to sleep.
See, I can't do that at night.
But like I specifically was listening to like romance audiobooks, so once you didn't really have to use your full brain to follow the story.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think what could have changed my brain to make me suddenly be able to do it. What I do like to do now, though, sometimes if I want to get through a book in like a speedy manner, then I'll listen to the audiobook at 3 times speed, but read it with my eyes. So like I have both going, and I don't know, for some reason, I can't listen at 3 times speed just listening because I can't follow anymore what's being said. But if I'm reading it with my eyes while I'm listening at 3 times speed, like it works. So
that's like my trick for reading classics is like reading it with the audiobook
I don't
and
know.
the physical book at the same time.
I don't know if I could do that with a classic. That seems like it might be too hard.
No,
I might
like
have
not
to try
3
that.
times speed.
Not
but
3
like,
times speed, maybe.
But like having
but yeah.
both helps you to focus.
You know,
Otherwise, I
that's
get too
been a thing
distracted.
too. That's been a thing since the pandemic. Honestly, I feel like my focus, my ability to focus, doesn't work anymore.
I've never had an ability to focus.
I used to be able to sit and read for hours at a time with no issues, and I feel like in the last few years I can't do that anymore. Like I still read a lot, but I feel like I'll be reading a chapter and then I'll stop and I'll go do something else, or I'll read a chapter, stop, check my phone. I don't know. I just can't stay in the story. But if I'm listening to the audiobook while I'm reading the book, I can stay in the story and stay longer. In like I can read for hours again. I don't know. I don't know if that works for anybody else, but it's been helpful to me because it's been rough these last few years. But the only thing is I can't stand the earbuds being in for a really long time. So, and if I'm alone, like if I'm by myself in a room, I'll just listen to with my phone and not do earbuds at all. But like usually there's people around me and I need to use earbuds, which is annoying.
Sorry.
Well, not you specifically, but just like other people. So, but I can't do earbuds for more than like an hour or so before they start. Like, I just want to pull my ears out. Like, I just can't stand it. Yeah, audiobooks are good for like when you can't just sit. Like I usually, if I'm doing chores and stuff where I can just be busy, but listening to an audiobook, I get through books much faster. I've started doing it while I'm cooking, except I think it drives my family crazy because they're used to being able to come in and talk to me. And they'll walk into the room and be like, "Hi, Mom." And I'm like,
and then I just like, oh, sorry.
Sarah just wanders back out. My husband will just start talking and I'm like, and he'll be like, "Take him out." Yeah, it's annoying when people want to disrupt my book. It's fine. I don't really mind. Unless I'm in a really good moment in the book and then it's like, no, go away. So I don't have, well, I do have, I sort of have a tentative list of what we're going to be reading next year for book club, because this is the last book club of the year. We're not reading anything in November or December, but I have been working on my list for what we're reading in 2023. I have a bunch of stuff. Like I started walking through my house because like I'm like, okay, 2023 is the year I read my shelves. It's gonna happen.
You said that this year.
I said that. I've said that every year, but seriously, this year, 2023 is the year I read my shelves.
And now you have a library card.
And now I have a library card too. So like I'm not letting myself buy things. But so I'm walking around the house making a list of all the things I have on my shelves that are like, these are good for book club. So, and then I'm kind of like playing around with, well, what month will these be good for and all of that. So anyway, I will be sharing a list very soon, but I can tell you guys what the first book is going to be. I think I definitely know what the January book is. So in January, we're going to read, what is it called? I literally I had it and then it left.
A Scatter of Light.
Thank
by
you.
Melinda
A Scatter
Lowe.
of Light. Like I literally had it. Just I don't know. I'm not the only one who has that happen. So anyway, A Scatter of Light by Melinda Lowe. Because I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely loved Last Night at the Telegraph Club. That was like one of the best books I think I've ever read, and so I've been very anxious to read the. I don't. Is it? It's not a sequel,
It's
but
a
it kind of
companion.
is a sequel.
It's a companion.
So, but yeah, so I really wanted to read that. And then I thought, well, we did Last Night at the Telegraph Club as book club. So why don't we do Scatter of Light as book club too? So that's going to be the first book we read. I'm very excited about it. It is a very pretty book. Technically, it's not my book.
It's mine.
It's Sarah's book.
And actually, it's a signed copy.
And it is a signed copy. And I was like, how can I somehow steal this from Sarah?
No, it's mine.
I'm going to have to buy my own copy. But yeah, so that's going to be the first book we read. And I'm going to be making a video probably next month. I don't think it's going to happen this month, but I'm going to make a video next month, probably when I've lined up what else we're reading. So I'll probably have it for like January, February, March. Because I don't know if I can think past 3 months at a time. Like that's pretty good for me to figure that much out at a time. So I'll be announcing the books we're going to be reading for the first 3 months soon. But that is a definite first book. So I can share that. I don't know I'm pretty sure I have the other two, but I'm like 85% sure I'm going to change it because I flipped them a few times and moved things around. So I don't know. I might change my mind again. So, but I definitely plan on reading a scatter of light. I am tired. So that is happening. So yeah, but if there's any books you think would be good for book club selections, let me know because I'm compiling a big list of things and I don't know, I'm open to suggestions because I keep second guessing my own choices. So I don't know.
You don't want another Jawbone experience.
Yeah. I don't know. After Jawbone, I became so anxious about every choice I've made.
Every life choice I've ever made since the age of 5.
So yeah, that one really made me concerned. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be choosing these books. I don't know. I do really want to go back and try to read The Bear and the Nightingale. I picked it up at the wrong time last year and my brain couldn't do it. So even the audiobook couldn't save me. I was like, nope, this is wrong. But I do want to read The Bear and the Nightingale. So I feel like I'm like the last person, though, to not read that. I feel like everyone's already read it. I don't know if it would work for book club. You haven't read it, but I don't know. I will think about that, though, because I know I feel like I should like it. Like it's completely in my wheelhouse of things that I would like. So I don't know. I don't know what happened the last time. But we'll see. That might work because I do own it and like I really want to love that book. So I'm going to add it to my list. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what I end up choosing because I'm a whole mess right now trying to like get all the end of year things ready. I have to do we did just finish it today though. We did just finish. I made Sarah help me. The 2023 Build Your Library Reading Challenge is ready. Like, well, the list is ready. I have to like make it fancy, but we finished coming up with the prompts for that. And I'm working on the prompts for March Through History, which we can all thank Regina for coming up with the theme because I was like, I don't know what to do. And she just like spit a theme at me and I went, yeah, that's the perfect theme. So I didn't know she would even think of something like that. So I was very proud of her. I'll be announcing that later too. So I'm working on the prompts though. I think I can never remember what number of prompts I want, but I think I might have that amount ready. I don't know. Well, I'll figure it out. And between that and book club selections and all of the things, I'm just like all over the place. Plus Sybil's. There's a lot going on, but it's all fun things. So yeah, that's the thing. I always say I'm going to make a bingo board prompt thing for March Through History, but it never quite works out as being a real bingo board. Like there's never quite enough to make I don't know. I'm going to make it happen this year.
To have, 5.
I know.
So then it's bingo.
I know. It's never a full bingo though.
No.
So it always bugs me that I didn't quite get it. So. But yeah, I mean, you can never do all of the challenges. I always say, oh, I'm going to do everything. But no, it's not really possible. I mean, I guess it is possible. There are people who really do read that many books. I'm always amazed at booktubers who are like reading 20 to 30 books a month. And I'm just like, how? How do you do that? I don't understand. I can't read a book a day. I can't even get through a middle grade book a day sometimes. So I don't know. What's your most Like, what's your best reading month, Sarah?
I mean, I would have to probably like check my Goodreads or something to confirm it, but I feel like I've been able to read like 9 to 10 on a good month.
See, that's like my average. I average like 7 to 10 books. I know. Kayla blows my mind. Every time I see her with the giant stack, and I'm just like, how? And when she does like, I'm going to do a weekend reading vlog and I'm going to read these 6 books. And I'm like, how?
And then she reads all 6
and then she reads all 6. I don't understand. Like, she must be able to read crazy fast. Is all I can figure, because my brain doesn't work that way. And I'm too distractible too. So like every time I'm like, I'm going to sit down and read for the next 3 hours. And then I read like 3 pages and get up and walk away. I don't know. But my best ever reading month was this past month. And I was so impressed with myself. Granted, it was like 90% middle grade. So not reading anything challenging. But I read 16 books. And I was like, whoa, I don't know that I've ever done that before. So pat on my own back. I was so proud of my 16 books, because I think my best before that was like 11. So I don't know. I will probably never be able to do it again. But it was all middle grade except for like 2 or 3 things. One was a reread. So like, I don't know that that's really impressive when you look at it like that. But it was a lot. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm a real booktuber now. Like, I read all the things. I don't know. We'll see what I end up doing this month, because I do still have a lot of middle grade to get through for Sybil's.
I have so many books I need to get through for Sybil's.
Oh my God, so many things. Every time I look at the list, I'm like, oh, I thought I was doing good, but no. There's so much more to read still. But it's all fun. It's fun things.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. Although there's a few books that I'm like, I hope I don't actually have to read that, because I really don't want to. There's just a couple books that I'm just like, no. But we'll see. I'm hoping somebody else will read those so that I don't have to. Because I don't think they're going to win. That would be unfortunate, because then I would have to read it, wouldn't I? I don't know. We'll see. But so far, I've been enjoying the Sybil's experience and all the fun things. I think I would do it again. I've been thinking next year I want to do YA fiction. Although I'm a little bit scared that I wouldn't be able to get through all the things. But there were so many really good YA fiction nominations, and I was like, oh, did I pick the wrong category? Because I want to read that.
I almost had that thought too. I was like, wow, wait, there's just like a lot of good stuff in the YA fiction, but there's good stuff in the YA spec fic too. So I'm not.
And there's a lot of good middle grade, so I'm not that upset about it. But yeah, I'm like, I want to read those things. So yeah, maybe next year I'll do YA fiction, because there was a really, really good list for nominations, and I was like, oh, there's a lot on there that I really wanted to read, but didn't get to.
Same.
So yeah, Scatter of Light was nominated because you nominated it. So.
I was like, I'm gonna make sure this one.
Yeah. Because I don't know that I've heard anybody talk about it besides us.
It is
so
weird.
like, what the heck? Where is everybody? Like, I feel like Melinda Lowe is a popular author, but like I haven't seen anybody talk about it. Yeah. So I don't know. Granted, I don't watch as much BookTube as I used to. A Scatter of Light. So, yeah. Because I was aware of it way back when it was first announced. I don't even know what month that was. It was beginning of the year sometime, though. And I told Sarah that she should pre-order it. Which I now regret, because now I don't own a copy. So.
It's my book.
It's Sarah's book. But I was like, why don't you pre-order it? Because you want that, right? Melinda Lowe is like your favorite author. So I didn't pre-order it, but now I'm like a little bit disappointed that I don't have my own copy. So I'm probably going to buy it. Although that is a thing I'm trying really hard not to do right now, is to buy all the things. So we'll see. No, I don't think you need to read.
Yeah, they're not actually, because it's not a sequel. It's like they're connected in that, like, they're set in the same.
It's the same
timeline.
Yeah.
So like, there's probably going to be some
I'm
sort of
sure
a reference.
We're going to see references to characters, but I don't think you're missing anything
No.
if you didn't read Telegraph
It's
first.
its own separate
Although I highly recommend that you read Last Night of the Telegraph Club
It's
because
really
it's
good.
beautiful.
Mhm.
It's such a good book. Like, I did not expect to like it as much as I did, just because it's like, oh, is this romance? But it's not.
No.
I don't know why I thought it was romance going in. I expected that for some reason. I don't know where I heard that it was.
Mm.
I think because I knew it was about a relationship, I assumed romance.
Yeah, I don't think Melinda Lowe's ever
But I don't
like
think I would
written,
qualify that as
I don't
as a
think
romance.
anything that Melinda Lowe's written so far can be classified as romance.
Really?
Like,
Because I
probably
thought Ash was.
I mean,
I don't know. I haven't read that either. But
It's a fantasy Cinderella retelling, so like there's romance in it, but it's not.
It's not a romance.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's just the one genre I cannot get into.
It's probably her most romantic book, like from what I've read, but still I wouldn't quite classify it as like a YA romance. It's a YA fantasy with romance in it.
Yeah.
These are in some. I like how Melinda Lowe, every single one of her books is completely different. Like she has not. Every book is in a different genre.
I don't even know what all her books are. I know she wrote Ash.
Yep.
Because you have that and you've talked about it a lot.
She has a sci-fi duology.
Really?
Yes. She
I didn't know
has
about that.
a thriller. And
You're gonna
she
have to
has
show me a
historical
list.
fiction, which is Last Night Telegraph Club. A Scatter of Light is her first like realistic fiction contemporary.
Is it contemporary?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
wasn't sure if it was set.
It's set
now
in
like
in the 2010s, like whatever the year that gay marriage legalized, that's when it's set.
Okay. Okay. I didn't.
So it's like
I thought it was like
historical-ish,
somewhere
but
between
it's like-
90s
yeah,
and
no,
like
it's set
the
in
early
like
2000s.
2013 or something, whatever that year was.
Okay.
But yeah, the first book of hers would be classified as like a contemporary because A Lion in the Dark is technically, but that's a thriller. It's a really weird thriller too.
Okay, you're gonna have to make this list for me, and I'm gonna have to try to read something else by Melinda Lowe because I just keep saying like, oh, I really like the writing in this. I should read more of her things, and then I've not looked at a single other book that she's written. So I did say I was gonna read Ash. I even put it in my TBR at one point, and then never got to it.
It's really, really good. It's still my favorite.
I don't know that that's the right book for me though.
I love
Fairy tale retellings don't always work for me, so
really
I don't know. Particularly Cinderella, like I don't know, that's a very overdone plot, so I don't know if that would work.
Yeah, but it wasn't quite as overdone when she did it back when because it was like
one of the earlier.
Yeah, no, it was also like one of the first queer YA fantasies. Like,
well, perhaps I will look into it. This is just driving me nuts. It keeps sliding. I don't know. I'm gonna take it off. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this now that the live show is over. What does one do with a Scream Queen sash? I don't know. Put it back in the envelope? It was funny too. I went to pull this out of the envelope that came in and I cut my finger. And I was like, well, that tracks that I would injure myself. No, this is not my blood. But yes. 12-foot skeleton. There you go.
We used to have a big skeleton.
We did not a 12-foot skeleton. No. We had like a 3-foot skeleton. Yeah. Skeletoni. Yeah. And he broke his leg and we don't have him anymore. I don't know what happened to him. Did we throw him out or did we hide him in the cellar? I don't know.
He could be lurking somewhere.
He could be. There was a house down the road from us that had like huge, like giant skeletons all over their yard. They kept like acting out different, like it was different every day. It was so weird. They put a lot of effort into their Halloween display. I don't think I've put that much effort into much of anything. I don't know. I can't keep up with something you have to change every day. That's too hard. Okay, why don't we wrap this up? Because my husband is going to pull into the driveway any minute now. He and Regina were out at a con today. They got to meet Ralph Macchio. I couldn't think of their names. Ralph Macchio and William Zabka from Cobra Kai and get pictures with them and stuff. So he promised they wouldn't be back until 7-ish, but I don't trust it because I just feel like he's going to walk in the door any minute and just make a lot of noise in the background. So we should probably wrap this up before they get home. But thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight and like all year. It's been so much fun. I love doing book club. I love having this fun little outlet where I can chat about books with everybody. And it's a nice, fun community. And I've really appreciated all of you for joining with me and reading all of the things that I make you read. And I hope that we can continue this into 2023. And I hope I pick good books that we all enjoy. Thank you, Sarah. I hope we don't have another jawbone experience ever again. So anyway, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight, and we'll see you next time. Happy reading.
Bye.
Bye.